Welcome back to Golf Xtra. Since a group of golfers left the PGA Tour for LIV Golf over the last year, most of the focus regarding their participation in the game's most prestigious events has been on major tournaments. However, there are also golf's international events to consider, with the most popular and well-known of those being the Ryder Cup. That begs the question, will LIV players be allowed to participate in the upcoming Ryder Cup? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Now, let's get right into the updates on LIV players and their Ryder Cup conundrum. For years, the Ryder Cup has been a source of both fiery competition between the US and Europe, as well as a source of unity. However, recent events that have reverberated throughout the golf world have rippled over to this event. Many assume that LIV players who defected from the PGA Tour and largely resigned their status on the tour wouldn't be eligible for the Ryder Cup, as they aren't a part of either the DP World Tour or the PGA Tour, both of which are closely tied to the current eligibility of players for the Ryder Cup. However, the PGA of America shocked everyone in early 2023 by issuing the following statement. PGA of America membership is a requirement to be eligible to participate on the U.S. Ryder Cup team. Under the PGA of America membership rules, there are classifications that currently allow LIV Tour members to retain their PGA of America membership status. Based on these statements, it became apparent that there were routes for at least some LIV players to join the Ryder Cup team. Writer Alex Maselli for Sports Illustrated dug a little bit deeper and found that because the LIV players paid their membership dues before June 30th, 2022, they will retain their membership through the end of June 2023, and then through a grace period that runs through the end of June 2024. After that, under the PGA's current rules, they may apply for PGA's reserve member classification. So, the LIV players do seem eligible for the Ryder Cup, at least on the US side. It's a little less clear on the European side, as players who have resigned from the European Tour, also known as the DP World Tour, are considered ineligible for the event. However, not every LIV player has resigned their status on the DP World Tour, so only a certain subset is considered ineligible by the European team. So, most LIV players appear eligible for the Ryder Cup teams, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the captains will choose them. On the European side, longtime English pro Luke Donald is serving as the captain. Even as recently as April 2023, Donald has committed to strong consideration of the LIV players to be a part of the team. Donald's statement read, in part, "I said from the beginning, I'm always kind of looking for guys that are really committed to wanting to make that team and be a part of it. But I'm keeping my options open. I want the strongest team I can, but I've got to also weigh that with a great team dynamic, and those are the things that I'll consider." Meanwhile, Zach Johnson, the U.S. captain, has a similar opinion regarding the consideration of the LIV players. However, he elaborated further on the challenge in needing to evaluate LIV players who play shotgun start events with only 54 holes against the players on the PGA Tour who play more traditional events, saying, "Well, it's not easier. It's probably a little bit more difficult because I'm not face-to-face, nor am I witnessing their games. I don't know what the conditions are like, probably don't know what the golf courses are like. I mean, there's competent players out there, you're speaking obvious terms there, but it's hard to really decipher, I guess, what's really going on, and frankly, I don't know how they go about their work. I don't really follow up much, but I want to start." However, a wrench has thrown into the inner machinations of the Ryder Cup teams when a LIV player, Brooks Koepka, won the PGA Championship at Oak Hill Country Club in May 2023. Considering that the whole field was on even playing field, the win prompted speculation that it would force Johnson to include Koepka on the U.S. team. However, Johnson himself refuted that notion after his own round at the PGA Championship, saying, "I just think it's too premature and, frankly, irresponsible to even have any sort of opinion about that. I think given where we're at right now, there's a lot of point out. Number one, number two, you've got a bunch of elevated events upcoming, and number three, if you go back in history, there's names right now that probably on both tours that we're not even mentioning that could have a chance given what's in front of us. So I haven't even begun to discuss picks with anybody that I trust in my circle, specifically with vice captains. I feel like it's irrelevant to even discuss." However, with the Ryder Cup drawing nearer and nearer, reporters pressed Johnson on whether Koepka's success would force him to spend more time scouting at LIV events and determining who might be the best fit, considering the upstart tour's limited visibility in the world of golf. Johnson pushed back on this, saying, "I think the luxury of me being captain is I'm still relevant and prevalent out on the PGA Tour, and that's where my status holds. So for me to abandon that on a week where I could be out there and go where the bulk of my players are going to come from there, I don't know what time will tell, but the bulk are going to come from there, would be irresponsible on my behalf and extremely inappropriate if I were to leave what I'm trying to do as a competitor and as a leader." The players themselves, even on the PGA side, have expressed sadness about the potential loss of both teammates and competitors at the international event. In particular, Jon Rahm, currently the world's #2 ranked player, recently discussed his disappointment at his former Ryder Cup partner Sergio Garcia being ineligible for the Ryder Cup after resigning his membership on the DP World Tour. In a press conference ahead of the Memorial Tournament, Rahm said in regards to Garcia, "I'm going to miss him. We had a great partnership at Whistling Straits. I'm going to mention history one more time. A Spanish duo in the Ryder Cup, I think, to me, is embedded into the roots of the Ryder Cup. Look at what Seve Ballesteros and Jose Maria Olazabal were able to do throughout their partnership, right? So it's a little sad that politics have gotten in the way of such a beautiful event." Rahm raises an interesting point shared by many fans. The Ryder Cup is largely about history, and taking some of the event's most notable players out of the equation makes things feel a lot different. Rahm went further too, saying that the event should be about the world's best players in referencing Garcia. Again, it's the best Europeans against the best Americans, period. And whatever's going on, who is playing LIV and who is not playing LIV, to me shouldn't matter. It's whoever's best suited to represent the European side. And I have a hard time to believe that the best player Europe has ever had, the most successful player Europe has had on the Ryder Cup, isn't fit to be on the team. While Rahm might have sympathy for the LIV players who may be left out in the cold, he might be one of the few. By and large, fans have expressed their disapproval of LIV players' potential inclusion in the event. In a recent mailbox article on the First Call Golf website, various fans sent in responses to a question asking if LIV players should be eligible for the Ryder Cup, assuming that they meet the qualifying standards. Most fans had negative responses, including those reading, "Absolutely not. The sellouts made their bed, now let them go sleep in them. Shame on the ruling bodies for even letting them play in the majors. I totally disagree with that decision." As well as, "The LIV golfers put money ahead of principles. Let them enjoy it. They can watch the Ryder Cup on TV." So it's another conundrum as far as the place of LIV golfers among the world's best. Will they participate in the game's biggest international showcase? Only time will tell. So do you think that the LIV players should be allowed to play in the Ryder Cup? Or do you think that they should be excluded from all PGA events? Be sure to leave us a comment with what you think down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can watch our latest content updates as soon as they drop. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.